Hello friends, welcome to iExamB. As you might already know, Union Bank of India has released Manager and Assistant Manager Forex Officer post, and the date for filling this form has been extended. So if you have not filled this form, you are willing to apply for this post, you can visit their website and fill the application form. In this video, we are going to study about tax havens, a very important topic for this exam. What are tax havens and how do they work? So let's begin with our first question. What are tax havens? There are many small and economically developing island nations which have been recognized to act as offshore tax havens. Why? Because they are providing highly favorable financial advantages to various foreign corporations and individuals. These countries, these tax havens are well positioned to benefit from the international mobility of business investment and the associated tax base. Hence, they facilitate tax avoidance by permitting the taxpayers to reallocate taxable income from high tax to low tax jurisdictions. So, in crux, basically what is tax haven? We have many developed nations. There is a nation which is having a higher tax rate, and now there are small developing island nations which have lower tax rate. For example, Bermuda, Cayman Islands, Bahamas. These are some of the countries which have been known to be tax havens. So basically what happens is a corporation wants to shift its tax rate. It wants to shift its expenditure from a country which is imposing a higher tax to a country which is imposing a lower tax, and this is why tax havens have become so famous nowadays, because they facilitate this tax avoidance. These tax havens, they attract foreign investment not only because income earned locally is taxed at favorable rates, but also because these tax haven activities facilitate the avoidance of tax that could have been paid in a country which is imposing a higher tax rate. Now we know what are tax havens and why they are famous. But how do they work? How these tax haven works? There are three most famous methods by which these tax haven works: base erosion and profit shifting, shelling, treaty shopping. Let's try to understand each of them one by one. The first one is base erosion and profit shifting. The idea is quite simple here. The firms are making profits in one jurisdiction, in one country, and then they shift them across borders by exploiting the gaps and mismatches in the tax rules in the two countries to take advantage of the lower tax rates, and thus not paying taxes to in the country where the profit is made. So there is an attempt to shift the profit from a country which is posing a higher tax rate to a country which is imposing a lower tax rate. And how it is done? One of the ways by which the profit is shifted is the corporation will shift its headquarters from a higher tax rate country, from country A to country B. So wherever the headquarters of the company is located, of the corporation is located, there they are liable to pay tax. So let's take an example here. We have a company XYZ which earlier had its office in country A, but now it has shifted its office, its headquarters in country B. So now this XYZ Limited has been able to avoid a tax of 30% in country A and is now liable to only a tax of 5% in country B. So this is one of the ways by which the profit is being shifted from one country to other country. And thus this XYZ multinational corporation is now liable to pay less tax by moving its profit which it makes in country A, where it has manufactured products or sell goods and services, but this entire work has been shifted to country B by shifting of the headquarters, by shifting of the head office of the corporation. There is one more way by which the profit shifting is done, and this is by shifting the copyright, by registering their intellectual property, their logo, branding in the other country. So what happens in this scenario is, this XYZ company in this case has registered its intellectual property, it has registered its patent, code, formula or algorithm in the country B, which is a tax haven country, which is having a low tax rate. Now, if a branch or if an office of this XYZ multinational corporation in country A wants to make use of this patent, of this copyright, what they need to do, they will have to pay a fees to the XYZ corporation in country B, and in this way the profit is being shifted from country A to country B under the pretense of paying the fees of the copyright which is registered in country B. So in this way, XYZ Corporation's branch in Company B charged expensive royalty fees from the corporation from the branch in country A, and thus XYZ Corporation was able to avoid the higher tax rate in country A. The next important method is shelling. Now, what is a shell company? Let's try to understand it first. A shell company is an inactive establishment which is used as a vehicle for probable financial crimes, or it is kept dormant for future use in some other capacity. This company, this shell company, it only exists on paper and has no brick and mortar presence or employees. Therefore, a shell company, instead of transacting into ordinary business transactions, is made with a view to enter into illegitimate transactions in order to evade taxes or indulge into money laundering practices. Again, a shell company may or may not have authentic business transactions. It may not be involved in any exchange of goods and services, but may have fake financial transactions to validate its existence. So, in crux, shell companies can be legal entities that do not possess actual assets or run business operations. They are usually not traded, that means they are not present on the stock exchange. They most exist in name only as a registered financial entity or as a mailing address. It is difficult to identify their real owners because usually they have fictitious owners. It is used as a pass-through to allow other companies or businesses to smoothly move financial assets from one country to another, and through this, tax can be evaded. Let's try to understand this with an example. So suppose there is one ABC Limited company which has a sister concern called PQR Limited. Now this ABC Limited company and PQR Limited companies, they are both garment export companies. It is shown that ABC Limited company was going through losses and hence it transferred all of its assets to PQR company. After some time, this ABC Limited was shut down, and now when the creditors tried to recover their dues, they were not able to do so because the company did not have any substantial assets, because these assets were already transferred to PQR Limited. This kind of arrangement where a company is formed only to indulge in fraud, in tax evasion, in money laundering is when it is supposedly called a shell company. And this entire transaction, this making of ABC Limited, this showing of losses, showing of financial transactions, and then transferring of assets from ABC to PQR is only on papers, and there is no physical office. There is no actual asset or business operations. So then it becomes a shell company. The third way by which the money can be laundered, the tax can be transported is by treaty shopping, and under this comes into picture the double taxation avoidance agreement. And what is double taxation avoidance agreement? So basically, double taxation avoidance agreement is kind of a treaty. It is a tax treaty which is signed between India and some other country, between two countries. Here we are talking about India and some other country, so that the taxpayers can avoid paying double taxes on their income earned from the source country as well as the residence country. So in order to avoid the double tax, this tax treaty is being done. However, this treaty shopping is one of the major ways by which tax havens are being used, by which taxes can be avoided, by which money laundering is being done. One very good example of it was Azadi Bachao Andolan, when it came into the public eye that multinational corporations which were engaging in business within India were incorporating themselves in Mauritius in order to seek advantage of Indo-Mauritian double taxation avoidance agreement, and this is what is called treaty shopping. Here the tax treaty is being used by the companies to avoid taxes. They are looking in all the double taxation avoidance agreement and taking benefit of the agreements. They are using the other countries to avoid taxes. So what happened in this Azadi Bachao Andolan, there was a double taxation avoidance agreement entered between India and Mauritius in 1982, which stated that any residents of Mauritius which are engaging in business transactions in India was to be taxed only in Mauritius, which had a very low rate of taxation, and they won't be taxed in India. This leniency, which was granted by Mauritius to corporations and individuals just having a residential status there, added to the problem. As a result of this agreement, as a result of this treaty, many companies were incorporating themselves in Mauritius and fulfilling its residency requirement. They were conducting their business in India but were only getting taxed in Mauritius. This entire scenario led to a huge amount of loss of revenue in the hands of Indian authorities, and corporations and individuals were saving a lot of money by conveniently avoiding tax. You know, the most fundamental effect that the usage of tax havens have brought is on Indian economy. It prevents various mobilization efforts which are being made by the government of India, because due to this tax evasion we are having shortage of funds, which in turn leads to distortion of government plans regarding economic growth and development. And there are many other implications of these tax havens, of this tax avoidance. So this was all about tax havens. At iExamB, we have online course for both assistant manager and manager forex officer. There are live classes being conducted on a daily basis. These are all the classes that have already been done, and there are many topics which are still left, which are still going to be covered. As you can see in the schedule, on 19th September we have ECB's external commercial borrowings. As the window for filling the form has been opened again, you still have a lot of time to prepare for this exam. If you are interested in any form of guidance, you can contact us on the number 9205524028. You can also visit our website www.iexamb.com. At iExamB, you will find mock tests are free and you can attempt mock tests. You can see how much you are prepared and then you can continue with your preparation. These live sessions are being conducted by an expert faculty for Forex, Mr. Shankar Nagarajan. He is ex-manager RBI. He has 30 years of experience in RBI across various departments, and he has more than 5 years of teaching experience in banking, trade finance and Forex. For all the updated information relating to government exams, do subscribe to iExamB channel, click the bell icon. Thank you so much.